Hey loves, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we're going to learn how to make this corset with a Basque waistline, but this time around the Basque waistline has a little twist. So I'm going to show you guys how to make these bodies and the sleeve. So first of all, we'll start with the pattern drafting, and I'll also show you guys how to cut and sew. So I used a duchess, a thick duchess. I bought 2.5 yards, and I used 1 yard of damask. The fabric that has green is called damask. So for the pattern drafting, remember this corset has an off shoulder, so I'll subtract 6 inches for the off shoulder, that is from the shoulder to where the corset to start from. Then from there I'll mark my bust point. My bust point is 12, my under bust is 16, my half length is 19, but you can make it 20 if you want it to be. You can make it like you can add extra 1 inch to your half length. Then I added extra 7 inches or 6 inches for my basque. So I'll measure the nipple to nipple. Her nipple to nipple is 9, so I'm measuring 4.5, that is on fold, 4.5 on fold. Then I will draw a straight line from the basque up till the chest line. The area where the off shoulder started from is my chest line. You can see that I labeled that area as the chest line. So after doing that, I'll go ahead and subtract 1.5 inch on each side of the corset, that is from the under bust down. From the under bust down, I'll subtract 1.5 on each side. So I am marking a straight line. So from that area, from the bust point, I'll make a curve to my under bust. This is for my bra cup. So the bra cup is taking shape gradually. So from the bust point, you make a curve to the under bust. Then remember, this bra cup is a 3-piece bra cup. So I'll show you guys how to make a 3-piece bra cup. So for the upper part, first of all, you come in by 0.5 inch from the center front. You come in by 0.5 at the chest line and 0.5 at the bust point. Then you make a curve from the under bust to that area. You measure 0.5 at the bust point. Then from there, you connect to the 0.5 you measured at the chest line. So at the other side of the bra cup, I will go in by 5 inches or 4.5. Then from there, I'll make a curve to my under busts, and from there also you connect up to your chest line. So you can see the center piece of the bra cup, I came in by 0.5. So from the under bust, from the bust point, you go up by 1 inch. You can see the bust point line. So from there, I went up by 1 inch on this side and 1 inch on the other side. Then from there, you will curve to where you want your 3-piece bra cup to be. That is for the upper piece. I have gotten the 2 lower pieces. So for the upper piece, I came up by 1 inch on each side of the bust point line. I went up by 1 inch on each side of the bust point line, and then I made my curve. Then on each side of that line, you subtract half inch. You can see I measured half an inch here and half an inch on the other side. Then you connect from your bust point to that area where you measured that half an inch. So for this 3-piece bra cup, you are free to give it any shape you want. The upper piece will have any shape you want at all. So you can see I have made my curve, and I also added 0.5 inch on each side of the curve. So at the chest line, from the chest line, I will make my sweetheart neckline. I want this corset to have a sweetheart neckline, so you are free to curve your sweetheart the way you want. So that is my sweetheart neckline. So the next thing is the armhole. My armhole will stop at 2 inches before my bust point, 2 inches above my bust point. So I want to make the wideness of the chest to be 16 for now. So I'll measure 8 on fold. Then from there, I will connect my armhole. That will be my armhole for now. So if you are confused, I think you should watch this part, you will get it. So I am done with that. I'll go ahead and take my body measurements. So this area that I am shading right now is the area that you cut out. It is not needed. This is that area. We'll cut out this area. So I'll go ahead and take my body measurements, but first of all, I'll cut out my neckline and my armhole. So after that, I'll take my bust measurements and my waist measurements. So her bust divided by 4 plus 2 inches seam allowance, that is what I will do. So let me cut off the remaining part of the pattern paper. So after doing this, you take your bust measurement. You measure your bust divided by 4 plus 2 inches seam allowance, then you will mark. So before I do that, I want to cut off this shaded part so that the measurements will be clearer for you guys, so that when I'm saying the things I want to be saying, you get it. So I have removed the dart right now. So at the bust, I'll take her bust measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches for sewing allowance or for seam allowance, and I will mark. So at the waist, you will divide your waist by 4. Then whatever you got, you add back 3 inches. 3 inches is because of that 1.5 you removed, this place that I cut out now. After dividing your waist by 4, you add back that 3 inches that you removed before adding 2 inches for seam allowance. Like you remove the 3 inches, you add back the 3 inches you removed plus 2 inches for normal seam allowance. I don't know if you get. Then you connect from there to your bust line, and from the bust line to the armhole. So the front part of this corset is ready. I'll go ahead and cut everything out. So if you're asking about the half an inch I removed at that 3-piece bra cup, leave it. That one is for the upper bust tightening. So I will go ahead and cut out my bra cup pieces. So after cutting them out, I will label them. So right now I have 3 pieces for my bra cup. That is how I normally draft my 3-piece bra cup. We have different methods of drafting a 3-piece bra cup, but this is the method that I used for this one. So I've labeled number 1, number 2, and number 3. So this is the center and the other one is the side. So we are done with the front. So over to the back, I will cut out the back, but this time around my back will not have any zipper allowance, and I also removed 6 inches from the shoulder for the off shoulder. So I also marked 8 inches for the armhole, and I will connect it for the neck, for the chest wideness. I measured 8 inches. Then from there I connected to my chest line. I connected my armhole to my chest line. So I'll measure the bust divided by 4 plus 2 inches seam allowance. I'll measure the waist divided by 4 plus 2 inches seam allowance. So this time around, I did not add any dart at the back. I don't like using darts when it comes to my back part. So if you notice also, there is no zipper allowance on this pattern that I drafted right now. That is because I want to tie the back. I want to lace the back. So after cutting out my measurements for my back, if you notice also, the back part does not have any Basque waistline. It stopped at the half length plus 2 inches seam allowance. I did not add any. The back part to stop at the normal half length. So I will take out 2 inches from the center back. So from the center back, I will go in by 2 inches. These 2 inches that I'm taking out now, it will serve as the distance between the 2 back bodies, because I would lace it, so I want the back part to be showing. I did not add any zipper allowance, and after that I also removed another 2 inches from the back measurements so that the back will show. So this is the back and this is the front pattern. Everything is ready. So this is the fabric that I'll be using. I used a thick Duchess and a damask. So the damask is what I will use for the upper bodies, and the Duchess is for the skirt part. So you cut out the skirt part. If you want it to be long or short, just make it the way you like. So I want to show you guys the sleeve. So I'll fold this sleeve. I'll fold it two times, so that when I cut once I'll get everything I need. So I'll go ahead and fold my sleeve. The sleeve will take a larger part of this fabric. So I am done folding. I have two sleeves right now. So for the length of the sleeve, I used 21 inches, and for the wideness of the sleeve, I used 30 inches. So I'll go ahead and cut out. So this 30 inches is on fold, remember. So if you open it up, it will be up to 60 inches. So the full length of the Duchess is the full length of the sleeve is 21, and the wideness is 30 inches on fold. Remember, it is on fold. So I'll go ahead and cut out, and after cutting out, I'll also go ahead and divide the two sleeves. Like I told you guys that I have two right there, so I'll go ahead and divide the two sleeves. So I will just give it a small shape for the armhole, and I'll go ahead and divide the two sleeves. So I'll also cut out a lining for these sleeves, because the lining will also add volume to it. So this is the front pattern. I am done cutting them out on my fabric, and this is the bra cup. I added a little dart at the bra cup so that it will be more pointy. So I am done cutting out the patterns. You can see the bra cups, and you can see the center and the side. So for the center of this bra cup, for the center of this corset, the center front should be on fold. The center front will be on fold. So right now I'll go ahead and join the bra cup first. So I'll join the bra cup first. So this is the back. I have added my loops for the back. I'll go ahead and turn it with the lining. I also cut out the lining for all of them, and I added a soft gum to the lining, or a light interface, or a cloth gum. So I'll use my lining and turn this back part. So I cannot add a cloth gum to the damask. So for the front, I'll go ahead and join the side pieces to the center. You can see the center, you can see the side pieces. So I'll go ahead and join them, and I'll also join the lining. So for the bra cup, this is the number 1, this is the upper piece, this is the number 3, and this is the number 2. So first of all, I will separate them. I'll arrange them in a way that you guys understand. So you have the upper piece and the two lower pieces, the upper piece and the two lower pieces. So I also arrange the lining like that as well. You cut out their lining as well. So right now, first of all, you go ahead and join the side, the lower pieces. You go ahead and join them before joining the upper piece. So I'll go ahead and join the lower pieces, then come back and show you guys. So I am done joining the lower pieces. I have joined for the lining and for the main fabric. So I'll go ahead and notch. Remember to notch all of them. So after notching, you go ahead and join the upper piece to the main fabric and to the lining. So if you turn it out, this is what you will have. So right now I'll go ahead and join the upper piece to the down piece. So after that, your bra cup will be very ready. So I'll go ahead and join and then iron. So this is the sleeve, and I have added my lining to the sleeve. So I'll go ahead and pick this sleeve. Like I'll pick them, I'll do a little smocking just randomly. I'll fold like a hanky, like I'll fold 1 and 2, and then I'll run a stitch at the center. This is how I'll pick it. So I will fold and then fold again, and then run a stitch at the triangular point. So that is how I'll go ahead and pick the sleeve randomly. So I am done picking the sleeves. You can see that it has just a little smocking on it. It is not too much, so you can see how I picked it. So right now I'll add my band for my sleeve. So I cut my band. It depends on the round shoulder of the person you are working with. So right now I'll go ahead and gather this sleeve on the band. I'll go ahead and gather the sleeve on the back. So this is the back. You can see how the loops are looking. They're so fine. So I'll go ahead and run my thread on it for the case, for the boning case, or for the I will go ahead and make a channel on it. I want to use my knot. I'll just sew on the fabric so that the stitch will hold the fabric and the lining together. Then I will insert my bone in between. So this is for the front. I'll go ahead and run my casing. I'll use that black stuff to run my casing on them. So this is the bra cups. I am done joining them, and you can see that it is looking so beautiful. So right now this is the lining as well. The lining is so fine as well. So I'll also go ahead and give it a little design. So I will use this black pieces, or this black strip that I cut out. I will use it and design. I'll run a stitch on those area where I joined the lower pieces and the upper piece together. Like, I'll just use it and design them. So this is the lining. I'll also go ahead and add the bra cup of the lining to the lining. So back to the sleeve, I am done adding my band to the upper part of the sleeve, and I folded the down part for elastic. So I'll add elastic to the down part of this sleeve, and you can see I have my lining, and the lining added volume to this sleeve. So the sleeve is very fine. So this is the front. I am done running my boning case on them. You can see the black stuff that I used. So you can see I did not curve the Basque waistline. They are just straight. It is still straight for now. So for the back part, I told you guys that I would not use that black stuff for the boning case. I ran a stitch on it. I see from the back, I ran a stitch on the back. That is where I will insert my bones. So you can see the space that I made for my bones. So this is for the bra cup. I'll go ahead and fix the bra cup on inside this bra cup piece. So I'll pin the bra cup down. You can see it will insert the bra cup, and you will pin it down. Use a pin and hold it down for now. So after doing this, you can use a needle and thread to stitch it. So I'll go ahead and add my bra cup to the bra cup space. So I am done doing that, and I've also joined the bra cup of the lining, like the lining part. I've also joined it. So I am done joining the bra cup, and you are free to trim off some spaces you are free to trim off, but not too much. That is why it is good to use like -5 from the shoulder, or -6, so that after trimming, the cleavage will not be showing too much, so you can trim. So this is what I have for now. So right now I'll go ahead and turn this front part with the lining. I will turn the neckline and the side. So I'll place the lining on it, then I'll go ahead and turn it on my sewing machine. So if you are sewing, please give the center part a good sweetheart shape. So I am done turning, and I will turn out the right side of the fabric. And so after turning it, you go ahead and iron very well, so that the sweetheart shape will be fine. So do not turn the armhole area. You don't need to turn the armhole area, just turn the neckline and the side, because it will still add your sleeve to the armhole area. So this is what I have now. I am done ironing, and the front part is looking good. So right now I'll take my body measurements on this front part. Like, I'll go ahead and take my bust measurement and my waist measurement. So before I do that, I will mark my Basque waistline. You know, this time around, this Basque has like 3 triangles. So you place your under bust. My under bust is 16, so I placed 16 inches on the under bust. Then from there, you will determine the half length. The half length is 19, right? The half length is 19, but I made it 20 inches. So I marked 20 inches. That is my normal half length. So that is where my basque will start from. So I'll first of all mark the center basque. You know, this dress has a center basque, and it also has a triangular shape at the side. So you mark your triangles the way you want them to be. The triangles will not reach the end part of the fabric. You can see where it stopped, because I'll still use that allowance to join the front and the back together. So I am measuring my waist measurement on this front part. So I have marked my waist measurement, and that is where your basque will stop. That is where that triangle will stop at. So I am remarking my triangles. You can make it as high as you want and as low as you want also. So I'll go ahead and cut out these triangles. So cut it on the upper part first, then after cutting on the upper part, you can place it on the lower part and join. So right now you can insert your bones. You have to trim off your bars before inserting your bones. So trim it off very well, then you can go ahead and insert your bones. So after doing that, I will place the front and the back together, and right now I can go ahead and join. So I'm currently inserting my bones. So if you're inserting your bones, they should stop at, let's say, 1 inch before the normal half length. So you also insert your bones at the inside the space you made for it at the back.
Oh, my in-law. Okay, okay, okay.
So right now I'll go ahead and place the front and the back together, and I'll go ahead and shape. So you can reduce your body measurement at this point if you want. Like if you want to snatch the waist, you can reduce your waist measurement. You can also reduce your bust measurements. That is if you want. So I am done doing that, and right now I'll trim my armhole. So you measure the wideness of the chest line. For me, I measure 12. 12 is very okay. Then I trim the armhole. You trim the armhole like a normal off-shoulder armhole. For the people that have been asking how I add a sleeve to my corsets, I normally trim the armhole like a normal off-shoulder armhole. So you trim the half length for the back part. So the back part will stop at the normal half length, while the basque will be longer. So this time around, I'll place this on the skirt part, and then I'll trace out the shape of the basque. So this is my skirt part. I made a short gown for this client. So I'll go ahead and place this basque on the skirt part. I'll place it, and I will go ahead and trace out that triangles on the skirt part. So I am done tracing out the triangles. I will go ahead and cut this shape out.
this is the same thing with your phone.
So after doing that, I will open this up and I'll take you guys to my sewing machine so that I can show you how I join this. So reduce your bones so that it will not interfere when joining the upper part and the lower part to get that. So we are moving over to our sewing machine. So you open the zipper allowance so that you have the space to join this. So you will start from the center triangle is where you will start from first of all. So you will start from the center and I'll show you guys how to do that. So you will run a stitch on the skirt triangle so that the lining and the fabric will be together. So you start from the center. So you start from the triangles and then you will join. So after joining, I'll also show you guys how to cover it with the bias strip. So keep on watching. So I am done joining the upper part and the lower part, and this is how it looks. I don't know if you can see clearly. So you can see it looks okay. It looks okay. So I'll go ahead and cover this waistline with a black strip. So you cut out, let's say, a 2 inches wide black strip, and then you start from the back, you place it, and then you will use it to cover those triangles. So I'll show you guys how to do that. this time around I'll trim the armhole of my sleeve. This is the time for the sleeve. I'll trim the armhole of the sleeve, and then I'll go ahead and join the sleeve. So you will join the sleeve like a normal off shoulder sleeve. So you go ahead and join. So this is the back part of the sleeve, and after joining this you will join the other side, and then you can add the zipper. So thank you guys so much for watching. So at the end of the day, this is what our gown looks like, and our client is so happy. So thank you guys for watching. And our corset, trouser and jumpsuit class is still ongoing. You can pay so that you can join the class. So please do not forget to subscribe. See you in my next video. Bye.